Greetings, my audience, my fellow gamers that follow my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel where I review video games. I haven't recorded much under this in a while, so this channel, so I'm reviewing a game I like. That's going to sound somewhat a little sacrilegious to you people for calling this a decent game. This is Square Enix 2020 Avengers game. This came out to the public in 2020. And you know what? I have played this game multiple times since 2020 and after 2020. And I can't believe enjoy the grinding in this game as each Avengers member. In the unique combat that each Avengers member gets, their own creative combat skills. I give this game a 10 out of 10. Or, well, maybe that's like a little harsh because or maybe that's giving the game too much credit. But this is going to sound a little harsh or sacrilegious or I'm going to sound like a little like the Antichrist to some gamers that flip their switch whenever they hear this game. Like this game, licensed game by Square Enix, because this game didn't do financially well. I don't see why. Is this as well as other games on the market for modern games? Like Insomniac Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Spider-Man, the Miles game. Why not connect this Avengers game to the Insomniac Spider-Man universe? That would be brilliant. Instead, we get this not connected. So somewhere Insomniac's their version of the Avengers is out there. We can only hope the Avengers are out there somewhere in the Insomniac Spider-Man universe. Whereas the Avengers building makes a cameo in the first Insomniac Spider-Man game. And gets the name team mention. But not as much in the first. More in the first game, not less in the second game. There's less reference of a bigger world with characters existing in this world. So it makes me think they were originally going to start out with a bigger universe. But something tells me that this is going to leave it to 3 games with Peter's story. And then kill him off in the 3rd game. And then have Miles be the only Spider-Man. Because in order for Miles to rise his first to true potential, we have to see Peter die and fall in battle. Because that's the way, that's always Miles' gig. For Miles to truly rise, we have to see Peter fall to his deathbed. And that's how it did in the original Ultimate Comics with Miles' story. And Insomniac Spider-Man probably is going to go the same route with the 3rd Spider-Man. So I think they're going to kill Peter Parker off at the end. And have him a heroic death, give him a heroic death, and then pass the mantle on to Miles. That wouldn't be surprising at all, given how he is slowly getting beaten more often in the sequel game and the cutscenes, more so in the cutscenes in the first game from Insomniac. So Peter's not as spry or as strong as he used to be when he was in his prime. And his prime wasn't that long ago, because his prime was in the first game. Just out of college, just Peter Parker was. But now he's losing his prime. And feeling his age. When he's still in his 20s. You know, I'm trying to feel sorry for him, but is it possible he just needs to do more cardio or work harder at being Spider-Man? Because he hasn't even reached midlife yet. Or 30 yet. He hasn't even reached midlife yet. Yeah, or 30 yet. In this Insomniac Spider-Man 2. And, so yeah, I think Peter is going to get nerfed in this game and more often than he did in the second game. And they're going to kill him off at the end. I'm calling it like it is for Insomniac Spider-Man 3 ending game. I'm calling it like it is. I'm calling them out. Because I can see the foreshadowing, and I do not like where the foreshadowing's leading of Miles being the only Spider-Man. Especially with the suit we got from Miles in the last game. In the end. That he wears. That's more of his, like, he made a shitty suit design. That's not even tights, a sweater over tights. And he wears a sweatshirt over tights, and he doesn't even wear a full mask. He wears a mask with the hair exposed. In the third act of the game of Spider-Man 2 that he makes himself, he calls that Miles Original. What was wrong with his previous outfit that was original? From Miles' design. Oh, I'm sorry. Wasn't that stupid enough looking? Was it not ridiculous enough looking? You didn't think he was silly enough looking, so he made a sillier costume than what the source material shows for Miles' costume. I get it. It's supposed to be a comedy hour. So that's why Spider-Man is wearing not his signature costume like he was in the opening of the first game, but he got the white, trade that in with the white spider symbol that looks too similar to Venom symbol. So it makes me wonder, in the third game, is he going to go back to the black small spider logo? That's similar to his original costume, and ditch the white spider logo. Is that what don't tell me. That's what they're going to do. Okay. Is he going to have the symbiote that he had at the end of the game, which kind of woke him up and gave him more energy and power? Wait, why doesn't he give the symbiote suit to Miles? He's going to be the Spider-Man and do all the heavy lifting. Don't you think he needs that Peter more than you when you're retiring, taking time off? As Spider-Man be Peter and raise your business? Oh, you didn't think of that, did you? Give the symbiote suit to Miles, that doesn't make you evil. That has the upsides of all the old symbiotes, but not the downsides that makes you cranky and evil. Why not give that to Miles? Why the fuck did you keep that from him? He's going to be the only Spider-Man. Shouldn't he need symbiote strength? If he's going to be the only Spider-Man, I think so. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the sequel to Insomniac Spider-Man, I know as I'm talking about more than this game. I guess I'm going to have to change the title to this review of Amazing Spider-Man of Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac. I guess I'm going to have to give this a 10 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, this game. I mean, realistically, I liked it more than playable. It's the most... I mean... I guess I give this a 10 out of 10. But it's mostly because of the gameplay. It's the most fun I had in an open world Spider-Man game. Especially with the symbiote powers and the new upgrade that Miles gets with his Venom Blast. That's cool too. So forget that I was going to talk about the Avengers game, because I'm going to talk about Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5 game in this review. So this time the villain's Harry Osborn, who becomes Venom when the game's like leaning like hinting I might be Peter becomes Venom, but then it turns to 180 where Harry gets the suit back and he becomes Venom instead of Eddie Brock or Peter or anyone that's took the Venom man that's been Venom from the source material, like Eddie Brock. Instead of giving what the fans wanted, which was Eddie Venom, we just get Venom has to be a mantle character, saying that anybody can be Venom as long as they have the symbiote. Ooh, taking control. So Venom's just like a evil blob alien now. And he can fly. I don't know when Venom can fly from the comics. And what Spider-Man issue or Venom spinoff did I not look at? But it must be from modern Spider-Man, I'm guessing. This bullshit world building was Venom logic and his powers and how they use. While it is fun to get control of Venom for one brief level moment in the game, you don't get to play him a second time. This one brief level, few minutes of Venom, and it is fun to see him play as Venom. He actually does feel like the most overpowered character in the game. And when you go out against him after playing him, you're expecting a more epic battle for him to put more up a fight and not just feel like a generic villain of the month in the game that Spider-Man comes across. As in, he doesn't feel powerful enough to be the final villain, but he is. At no point does the two Spider-Man team up to try to fight him together. One fights them back and forth on their own ground. Never except in cutscenes, the Spider-Mans don't fight Venom together. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if we got combat with the two Spider-Mans on the same battlefield combating, trying to take down Venom in actual combat for the final boss level. It wouldn't be nice if Venom put up more of a fighting, use all the full range of abilities of all of his powers, and just surprise you until I just feel like the Venom that put up a more of a fight in the end of the third act of Spider-Man 3, the game, from PlayStation 2 era released on console, not the PlayStation 3 game that was unplayable. The PlayStation 2 game, the Spider-Man game, when you play Venom in the third act, I could have sworn that put up more of a fight and used more tactics and more of a fucking pain in the ass and felt more like a well-deserved final boss than this Venom in this game. And this Venom's voiced by the guy that played the Candyman in the original Candyman movie. What's his name? Tony something? Tony something, I forget his name, full actor's name. Yeah, apparently this was the last performance. He plays the voice of Venom. He's a good Venom. Too bad this was the last performance he did before he passed away, and they cut a lot of his performance out of here of this game. And they didn't use a whole lot of Venom in the game, and he's, I hear no longer voice. He passed out. I hear he passed after sometime after recording his lines for the games, and he was editing a lot of his lines out of the game. It's like, well, why would you edit? But why you had it as so much? Like, it feels like Venom's hardly in this game when he makes his appearance and comes. He's hardly in the game. Or hardly in any scenes, cutscenes, or at all. I mean, you know, I can't help but feel like Screech, MJ being turned into his character Screech from the comics, and not really Screech, but just because nobody calls her Screech, so I don't think she's very Screech. She's a little bit more like a design of Screech. Is a symbiote from the lore of Venom in the Marvel Comics, one of the Venom characters symbiotes. So I noticed something that I hate to admit to myself, but MJ's a way more better final boss than Venom is in this game when you fight Venom versus fight MJ versus being taken over by a symbiote versus Harry being taken over by a symbiote and turning that in that symbiote's Venom, you know? It's like so much. It's kind of like a mixed bag, this game. I can't even feel like the final boss battle for Dr. Ock felt like a final boss in ways the Venom level, that the Venom final boss that was supposed to feel like a final boss doesn't feel like a final boss. And am I crazy? But I couldn't ever feel like the final boss level was awfully short compared to the other boss levels, or the final level for Miles' game on the streets, and then leading to him fighting the Tinkerer and him saving all the rest of Harlem by absorbing the radiation, and Tinkerer risking her life to help Miles get the blast away from the people and save Harlem. Those first two Spider-Man games was the first outing of Miles' story and the first outing of Peter's story. They felt like finished games. And not just the frosting was the game, but, you know, also it felt like there was like layers and subtlety into the original, the first two games this universe. Was the first Miles game, the first Peter game. It felt like there was subtlety and a clever thought put into everything and fine tuning, and it felt like a finished game, each one. You know, those two games. This feels like a finale to the first Peter story and the first Miles story. But also feels like if that's what it feels like. It feels like a finale. It feels like a third one. It feels like a finale to Peter's story and Miles' standalone stories. To make room for what new character will come with the third game. And because Peter's now the only Spider, because Miles now Spider-Man instead of Peter helping him, mentoring him, and gives him on his own, and not even give him the symbiote improved suit. Instead, he's hogging it instead of giving it to Miles, the only Spider-Man in the city that they're going to have to rely on for now. I just think that the ending makes Peter look a little selfish. More than the ending to One More Day made him look selfish. When he made a deal with Mephisto and undo his MJ relationship. And that's what turned many readers off in Spider-Man to this day. Why he can't sell anymore. And it's just dragged on so long. Since after One More Day, these don't know what they're doing anymore. And it felt like also, One More Day also, but that brings me back to Spider-Man One More Day, this game. You know how, I can't but feel like Spider-Man, this feels like a lot like Spider-Man One More Day. The ending to this game. Like, it feels like a finale to the Peter we knew and loved from the first game. And a finale from the... It feels like this is going to be it. And it's going to like make Peter... I'm worried they're going to spoil too much from modern Spider-Man media for the third game. Because it looks, based on the story ending, that they're heading in that uncharted territory that we don't want people to touch for adaptations with Spider-Man, the new media stories. We don't want Spider-Man, well, Peter Parker Spider-Man, with his new stories to be adaptations at all, video games or big screen, because they suck now. The new stories that after One More Day just suck. All of them. Well, so many. Whereas the obsession, maybe the superior Spider-Man run, but that's where Doc Ock takes the mantle of Spider-Man after switching minds with Peter's body in the storyline, and he decides he wants to be a better Spider-Man than Peter by topping him and being better Spider-Man. It's just like, and I hear that good things about that, but personally I haven't seen that, read that run, but I heard good things about it, that old Superior Spider-Man run, but that came out after One More Day, so, and again, it's not Peter's story, so, it's like, it's a Doc Ock story. In that story, for the Superior Spider-Man. So, in the post-credits scene in this game, we see a brief cameo of Doc Ock's symptoms getting worse with his sickness, of his body shutting down more. We see him like moving more slower. So it makes me wonder, is the third game going to go the Superior Spider-Man route, where Doc Ock switch places with Peter body, and he's going to pose as Peter? That's more of a guess on my part. That's where the game's going to take the third installment. And that's my guess. I know what I don't know, but I mean, it's just the ending to this game, but seeing the two iconic characters, Doc Ock and Norman, talk to each other. Well, Doc Ock's behind bars and his body shutting down more, obviously, getting some worse symptoms. He has the same thing that Harry and his mother has, I guess, in the games. It's kind of implied in the story of world building. So, I guess the question is in the air for now. But this game was fun, even though it felt like a finale instead of a full game. It just felt like the finale to a story, while also building up to something else. We're going to see other scenes that don't really go anywhere in the incorporating the game. So I guess that's build up and foreshadowing for the Spider-Man 3 where it's going with the stories. So I guess the Chameleon's going to play a part in the story of Spider-Man 3 and Doc Ock and Norman, while Harry's in a coma and Peter is taking off from being Spider-Man, and Miles is the only Spider-Man for now. I don't know where this is going to go, but it seems like it could go in a bunch of different directions. I'm not even sure the creators have a vision now, because the thing is, well, Spider-Man 3 is a lot like X-Men: The Last Stand. It feels like it just wrapped up a trilogy. Spider-Man 2. It feels like a conclusion to a trilogy. So that's my thoughts on Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac. I give it a 10 out of 10. Bye.